Well, Boo Boo's been out hearing teams around the Big Ten, so we might as well make today's show all about him, basically like an ode to Boo Booey. Let's talk about it.
You are Locked On Northwestern, your daily podcast on the Northwestern Wildcats, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, everybody, and welcome in. This is Locked On Northwestern, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm your host, Carter Bird, and thank you for making Locked On Northwestern your first listen every single day. We really appreciate it. We're available wherever you get podcasts, Apple Podcast, Spotify, wherever you can find us. And we are also on YouTube. Just search Locked On Northwestern. You can find us there. And then, look, wherever you're listening, make sure you're subscribed and you turn on notifications. You don't want to miss an episode because it's a lot of fun right now to cover Northwestern and specifically Northwestern basketball, which we're talking about a little bit here today, obviously. But yeah, we're going to continue to put out videos each week covering what's all going on. But let's jump into this because really fun topic today. Boo Buie, the point guard that we all have come to know and love this year and over his entire career, out of Albany, New York, senior, 6'2", 180 pounds. Actually, because I had somebody ask me this, and I knew I just had not looked it up before, I guess. But actually, his full name is Daniel Richard Buie, so I don't really don't recall the story behind Boo, but one of the most fun names in college basketball. And he's lived up to every expectation this year. But who was Boo Buie really before this season? When you go back and look at his stats, his freshman year, that 2019-20 season, 10.3 points per game, 2.1 rebounds, 2.4 assists per game, 0.7 steals per game. Wasn't really like a guy who went out there and got some blocks, but 0.1 per game, 1.8 turnovers. He was not the most efficient shooter by any stretch of the imagination. 37.6% from the field, 44.8% from two, and 28.2% from three. He was a 70.8% free throw shooter, playing in 26 games, making 11 starts, playing 25 minutes per game. But you saw flashes, you really did. There are moments of greatness even in that freshman season. As you saw him, he put up 26 points against Michigan State, which is, that's pretty impressive, to be honest with you, as a freshman in a matchup like that. He took a whole lot of contested shots, a lot of early shots in the shot clock. Then that next season, you saw him continue to make a little bit of progress. Same points per game in 2020, 2021, 10.3 points per game, 2.3 rebounds per game. So a little bit better there. 4.0 assists. So he got better at assisting, distributing to his teammates. 0.6 steals per game, 2 turnovers per game, 36.9% field goal percentage, 38% from two, 36% from three, was 78.2% at the free throw line, playing in 24 games, making 19 starts, and his minutes per game jumped up by about 1.9 minutes to 26.9 minutes per game. I think you saw a little bit more consistency of him scoring a little bit more. He was able to, I guess, make a bigger impact in some games. He had 25 against Minnesota. He had some game. He had a game where he scored for some reason, he really loves absolutely going off against Michigan State. He had 30 against them on a very efficient game, especially from deep, going 5 of 6. He flashed a great handle that year. He really did. A lot of catch and shoot opportunities that you don't really see with him now. The floater started to flash a little bit. Still had some bad shots that you would come across. And it was actually, I think, during this year that he got his first Big Ten Player of the Week honor, the week of December 21st, after he had that 30-point performance against Michigan State. So great honor for him there. Then last year in his junior season, we saw his numbers tick up even more. We saw him go to 14.1 points per game, his highest of his career at that point. 2.5 rebounds per game, 4.3 assists per game, 0.8 steals per game, all of those being the best of his career. 1.9 turnovers per game, 39.7% from the field, 45% from 2, 34.1% from 3, 79.6% at the line, playing in 31 games, making 30 starts, and his minutes ticked up to 29 and a half per game. Again, when you look at those first 3 seasons, you see the shot selection at times was bad, a lot of contested shots, but the talent flashed. It really did. And you could see that he could be great. And he just needed to get better. He needed to mature. He needed to grow into his role, which I think is exactly what we've seen Buie do. And we're going to talk about this year and what's been different here in just 1 second. But first, we got to talk about our friends at Built Bar. Are you looking for a delicious treat but don't want all the fat and calories? Then you got to try a Built Bar. We just got through the holidays, and I know my goal is to eat a little bit healthier this year. I think I'm doing a pretty good job of it right now. If you're like me and you want to eat healthier but don't want to compromise taste, then man, I've got just the thing for you. You got to try Built. With Built, healthy is actually tasty. Seriously, they're so delicious you won't think they're good for you. Perfect for your New Year's resolution. What makes Built so good? Well, for starters, their bars are covered in 100% real chocolate. That's right, real chocolate. And they come in unbelievable flavors like churro, peanut butter brownie, and coconut almond. I'm not sure how Built does it, but these bars taste like a candy bar while maintaining amazing macros. And what's even better is that they're healthy. Only 130 calories and 4 grams of sugar with a whopping 17 grams of protein. And now you don't need to wait around to get a box. For years, we've been talking about ordering your Built bars at built.com. Now you can go get them at your local Walmart or Sam's Club. That's right. Head to your nearest Walmart today, walk to the pharmacy section, and grab yourself a box of Built bars. You can pick up a 4-bar box of cookies and cream, double chocolate, or coconut puffs. If you're close to a Sam's Club, run in and grab yourself a 13-bar box with our hit flavors, brownie batter, and churro. You can thank me later. Just get out there and try some of these awesome Built bars. Also, thank you again for making Locked On Northwestern your first listen every day. Make sure you check out our brand new podcast, Locked On College Basketball. Everything you need to know about college basketball in one place. Plus, hear from big name experts, insiders, coaches, and players. Locked On College Basketball, available on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. All right, so what has made Northwestern, what has made Buie rather so much better this season? Well, the numbers have absolutely ticked up, and we're going to take a look at that. I mean, he's scoring 17 points per game, 3.5 rebounds per game, 4.6 assists per game, 1.1 steals per game. His block numbers are actually the highest that they've ever been at 0.2 blocks per game. He is turning it over 2.5 times per game, but his usage is a lot higher than it's been. 40.5% from the field, which is the highest of his career. 48.2% from two, by far the highest of his career. 29.7% from three, a little lower than you'd like, but we'll talk about that in a second. But here's where he makes a lot of progress. 89.7% from the free throw line. He is almost automatic from the line. And that's huge when you get in these Big Ten games. He's played in 27 games, made 27 starts, and he's playing 34.6 minutes per game. By far the most minutes he's played per game in his career. The biggest difference is he's so mature right now. His shot selection is so much better. The handle is absolutely great. He has the ball on a string at all times. He knows what he wants to do with it. He's calm, cool. He's collected. He's never panicked. I feel like his heartbeat never gets above 60 beats per minute. He's a steadying hand for this team. He really is. When things go haywire, he's that guy that gets them back on track. He can really just break you down defensively. We saw that against Purdue. There was a moment where he's taking the ball up the court, gets a great screen by Matthew Nicholson, gets a lot of space. He gets to the free throw line, has a little hesitation, draws Zach Edey out a couple steps, getting a little momentum going forward, blows by him. Zach Edey's trying to recover, uses the rim for protection, and gets a lay-in for a big bucket. So he's great at just figuring out how he can manipulate the defense. He's great at penetrating the paint. His floater is absolutely deadly right now. He is almost automatic with it. He hits so many difficult shots too. So many difficult shots in and around the basket. It's really impressive. I do feel like we talked about how that 3-point percentage is a little bit lower than you'd like. I feel like it's starting to come around a little bit. He takes a lot of threes sometimes in some games because the shots are there. They haven't been falling. I think they're starting to fall a little bit more. And I think he's starting to build momentum as this Northwestern team has built momentum, as his teammates start playing a little bit better. I think it's opened up some more shots for him from three, and he's gotten that going a little bit. His defense has gotten better. He's getting steals, and he's stripping big men down low. He did that against Iowa the other night. He's distributing the basketball well. He's getting 4.6 assists per game. It feels like that's going up and up and up as we go. He pushes the pace well when he needs to. He makes his team better. He's invaluable to this team. He protects the basketball. I know he's at 2.5 turnovers per game, but I really don't feel like it's that high. I feel like he does such a tremendous job limiting turnovers, especially over the last month and a half, 2 months, really. Big Ten Player of the Week last week and March Madness Player of the Week as well. Great honor for Buie. As when you watch him play, he's been special this year, and he's just gotten better and better and better as the season has gone on. We're going to talk some kind of final takeaways and what this season means for him. We're going to talk about that in just 1 second. But first, got to give a shout out to our friends over at LinkedIn. With LinkedIn Jobs, you can hire qualified candidates more efficiently by matching open roles with people who have the skills, values, and experience to help you achieve your 2023 goals. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. Terms and conditions apply with that. Also, thank you for making Locked On Northwestern your first listen today. For your second listen, check out our brand new podcast, Locked On College Basketball. Experts Isaac Shade, Andy Patton, though they bring you everything you need to know on and off the court, plus hear from big name experts, coaches, and players throughout the basketball landscape. Locked On College Basketball, available on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. All right, let's dive into a little bit more of Buie here, because I think the way you're watching him play right now, I think he is a top 5 player in the Big Ten right now. I think he is your first team all Big Ten point guard. And rightfully, he's starting to get that buzz. I think Northwestern would not be nearly as good as they are without him. If you replaced him with an average Big Ten point guard, Northwestern's probably closer to where they were projected, 13th in the league. They're definitely at least middle of the pack. He's a top 3 most valuable player in this league. You can say Trace Jackson Davis. You can say Zach Edey. I think he's in that group with them. I really do. I think he's that important to his team. He makes his teammates so much better. Just look at what the impact he has had on Matthew Nicholson. There's a connection there. There's a comfortability. There is a chemistry there. Those two know where they're going to be at all times. And you're starting to see it play out more and more and more. Buie is starting to find him, get him really good looks. And he's starting to become an offensive threat. And I love just I think he's got that with Chase Audige as well. I think he's got that with Robbie Barron, the other seniors that he's kind of come through this program with. And really, look, as he's rounded into form, Northwestern has become the hottest and most dangerous team in the Big Ten. And that's worth talking about. He's been that much of a difference maker for Northwestern this year. In clutch time, he's your go-to guy. We've seen all the important buckets at the end of the first half, at the end of games. He is your guy. He gets to the paint and he's going to hit a floater, or he's going to hit that little fall away kiss off the glass that we've seen a few times. He takes your last shot when you need a last shot, and he hits it more times than not. I think he's a scrappy guy. I think he's the unquestioned leader of this Northwestern team. He and Chase Audige for sure. But right now, I think with the mentality that he has, and the way that he talks about this program, this isn't a joke. This is for real. They're serious, and they're here to keep doing damage, and they're here to continue to rack up wins, continue to prove the doubters wrong. And I think that that's something you have to admire about Northwestern and about Buie. And they've taken on that identity, and it's been really impressive. But Buie is the most important player on Northwestern's team. You can make an argument he's right there with Zach Edey for the most valuable player in the Big Ten, because he has had a special, special season. He's starting to get that recognition, but he needs more of it, because he is the best point guard in the Big Ten right now. And I don't think he's going to slow down anytime soon. That's going to do it for today's episode. Appreciate you tuning in. It's fun to talk about this team. It's fun to talk about the guys on this roster and what they provide this program, what they provide this team, and what they can do moving forward. But yeah, thank you for making Locked On Northwestern your first listen every single day. We really appreciate it. We're available wherever you get podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever. We're also on YouTube. Just search Locked On Northwestern. You can find us there. And wherever you're listening, make sure you're subscribed and you turn on notifications. You don't want to miss an episode. I'm your host, Carter Bird. You can follow me on social media at CarterBird13. And I'll see you all next time.